Are you thinking about buying Subnautica, but want to be sure it's worth your time and money, as well as being safe for your mental health first? You're in the right place, friend. I'm the CC and let CC play. Welcome to an Anxious Gamer review. Subnautica is one of my all-time favorite games, so I'm going to attempt to approach this review with as unbiased a perspective as possible and with minimal to no spoilers. However, as this is primarily an exploration game, just about any B-roll I could muster up could be seen as a potential spoiler. So if you just want to decide if this game is right for you and avoid all spoilers, just minimize your web browser and simply listen to this review while you do something else. With all of that out of the way, let's dive in. I'm going to break this into two parts. I'll start out just discussing the gameplay, and for people who don't mind some minor spoilers, I'll discuss and critique the story towards the end. Subnautica starts with the player in a life pod ejected from the starship Aurora and crash landing onto the mysterious ocean planet 4546b. You are immediately thrust into the ocean, where you will have to start by getting the bare essentials for survival, after which you will acquire a scanner and start piecing together more advanced blueprints from the wreckage of the Aurora. With time, your need for resources and answers will push you ever deeper into the beautiful yet highly distinct biomes. These biomes are inhabited by equal parts beautiful, unique, and horrifying fauna and flora. To facilitate the exploration of these zones, you will require the gear that you've been unlocking the blueprints for. The crafting in Subnautica is fairly straightforward and doesn't bog you down with tedious artificial depth, where you have to find A, then refine it into B, then mix it with C, then refine it to D, then place that in a kiln for 15 minutes to get your next upgrade. Oftentimes you will only need A and B and sometimes C, but then you realize B is guarded by monsters that would probably make the Kraken and Moby Dicks of old a smidge self-conscious. That being said, the difficulty, if you can get past the fear, is not terribly high. Sure, you could turn on the hardcore mode so you only have one life, but with a smidge of pre-planning, hunger nor thirst will never be what kills you. Far more often I found myself dying because I forgot to watch my oxygen and tried to scan one more piece of salvage than my lungs cared for, as opposed to the beasties who seem to have rather derpy AI at times. That being said, I certainly don't think this is strictly a bad thing. Not every game has to have some crazy Souls-like adventure that if I don't overcome, I'll never be cool enough to be one of the boys. This is more of a statement for your consideration while shopping as opposed to a straight-up critique or endorsement. The base building is quite enjoyable, but on the outside can feel a bit bare bones as you only have one room and some small corridors. But it's what you do with the inside that counts. You can find many decorations in the game as well as small fish tanks or large aquariums. You can make several stories high if you so choose. Gardens and some other miscellaneous bits and bobs can quickly turn your large rooms and corridors into a sea home. Since you can find montages of the likes on YouTube, Reddit, and Imgur, I don't think I'm the only one that enjoyed it. Now for the people who don't want even the smallest of spoilers, I'm going to give a quick TLDR here. I highly recommend this game, but keep in mind, it has a bit of an anxiety risk. If something like this might give you anxiety, then be prepared for more of that if you make the plunge and purchase Subnautica. Now I'm going to talk a bit about the story and progression, so against best practices of being a YouTuber, advise that you click away. But first, like and subscribe, then go check out some of my other videos. Just don't hate me if you're still here and get some very minor spoilers. I think you're awesome. With that out of the way, I'm going to discuss the story. I'm going to try my best not to spoil anything outside of an hour or two of swimming casually around, but just in case, my spoiler warning was back there. The story grabbed me from before there was a story. Subnautica is a game that I gotta watch grow up, so to speak. At first, it was just another survival game, but this time, underwater. Yet despite that, during a time when we were being drowned in survival knockoffs wanting a piece of that pie, Subnautica managed to stand out. Then, as they slowly started adding pieces to the space mystery, I wanted more and more. In spite of knowing exactly what would happen before I got around to doing my own playthrough, it punched me right in the feels. However, there were a few odd quirks I noted, most of which fall under what I'm going to call the incredibly lucky silent video game protagonist archetype. You want me to believe that with all the deep, virtually endless abysses on this planet, our ship managed to perch precariously on this perfectly suitable bit of land, while our life pod landed in the only place not pushing thousands of meters below sea level, and then all of the other who knows how many people died to the sea monsters I'm outsmarting with a glorified Roomba? What in water purification? I suppose that's fair in the end. If the clips of people getting murdered on Black Friday is anything to go off, there are hordes of people out there who might have a slight case of the dumbs. Fair enough, you handsome devils at Unknown Worlds, you win this time, and all the other things you did right that made Subnautica a wonderful and enjoyable experience. So in the face of these weird, unimmersive nitpicks, I still highly recommend this game if you can overcome any fears and or anxiety tied to the ocean and its spoopy monsters. The graphics are beautiful and stylized, the audio really does feel as though you are underwater, and the ambiance produces feelings tied to how far you've come. The AI in your PDA is wonderful and snarky.
Remember that materials you gather are the property of the All-Terra Corporation. You will be liable to reimburse the full market price. Your current bill stands at 3 million credits.
There isn't some crazy difficulty curve that you are forced to learn, as the game offers 4 difficulties. The story is fantastic and can be enjoyed at your pace, as it organically points you in the right direction from time to time, but never forces anything on you. Subnautica is the game I wish I could get all my friends to play. Thanks so much for making it this far. Spudscribe, ting, that little bell, go down to the comments. I love getting suggestions for games to review, and tell me your great Subnautica story, either now or come back after you've played it. Stay safe, you wonderful and beautiful people. I'll see you in the next one. CC, out.